You heard that ice, right? You heard that crunch, right? You heard his mouth. All right. 5, 4. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Idiot Ezra, and this is the sports side. And today I'm joined by Gregory and Mike Tapp, and today we're going to be talking Week 8, the trade deadline, and maybe our Halloween weekend. And before we get into the conversation, I do want to mention here on Idiot Ezra that every Friday now, me and Marvin will be debuting. We already debuted this past Friday. Our variety show. We were talking about fanboys and the console wars, and there'll be various topics every Friday with me and Marvin going forward. And every Monday it'll be Gregory and hopefully Mike with the sports side. Usually we concentrate on the NFL, NBA. I don't care about baseball. Maybe they will talk about his Mets because, they got a new owner and stuff, so he feels all giggity, gaggity. Oh, that's terrible. But you know what? I love seeing Met fans being excited because it usually comes crashing down. But it's a new era for you guys, so it might be different because your guy's talking about he's ready to rock and roll and spend some money in free agency, which you guys haven't really looked forward to in a long, long time. So we'll get into the talk right after our intro song. Well, since Week 8 was completed, we have a lot of stuff to talk about, but tomorrow's the trade deadline, and I think we should talk about the trades that could potentially happen, maybe did happen, or we think should happen. And in the last couple of years in the NFL, the trade deadline and trading has picked up. I remember, growing up, the NFL trade deadline was, It was a dead zone for the NFL. It was never no talk about it. The last couple of years has picked up big time, and it can really help your team going forward down the stretch. And usually for teams like my Jets, who's selling everybody on the roster, or other contenders that need some trades. And I think that's what we're going to get into. I'm going to start off first. The team I think that needs to make a trade is the Seattle Seahawks and the Tennessee Titans. Their defenses are bad.
They need help.
And they have no pass rush. I was going to suggest Everson Griffin from the Cowboys, but he was just traded to the Detroit Lions for a 6th-round pick. It's funny how seeing the Lions, even though they're there somewhat in the playoff talk, I believe, they're 3-4 now?
3-4, yeah.
And they made a move. And when you have championship aspirations like the Seahawks and Titans, it's funny that they didn't make this move, but they have a name or two out there. We got Ryan Kerrigan from the Redskins, who demanded a trade, and the Redskins, he's about to become a free agent. They can move from him. He's 32 years old. He makes some money. It doesn't make sense to keep him around. So I think he's a guy that you could potentially look at for either of these two teams, and I think they need to make that move to shore up that defensive line. I think they need to make more than that just move, but that's going to go a long way in helping them because their D-lines are not getting any pressure, and it showed once again for the Titans this past weekend. And you're asking Russell Wilson every week to drop 4 to 5 touchdowns, which he's having an incredible season. I think he's got like 26 touchdowns. I think he's 1 touchdown away from the record at the Week 8 point. But that's too much to ask from him, so you got to get him some help. Any other names or teams out there you believe that need to make a move out there, guys?
For sure, the Cowboys. The division is wide open. If they could just get an actual quarterback to manage that team, because they got the weapons, then they can actually make a push for that division title.
So you already think the Cowboys should go for it, not sell. You think they should be buyers here?
They should. I think they do, because look at that game versus Philly. Like, if they had anybody who can actually make a pass that can give the ball to put in the playmaker's hand. I've never seen this before. They did Wildcat five times. And they're not even a Wildcat team.
They're a third string. Okay, so what names are you going to go out there for the Cowboys?
I'm thinking Fitzpatrick. Why? Why not go?
I just read today that the Dolphins do not want to trade Fitzpatrick. Remember we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. We wasn't sure. The coach came out and said, we don't want to trade him. But if you overpay, I think a team would trade him.
Right. So, that's
all talk.
And that's basically what he's saying, right? He's just raising his price.
That's his leverage. Like, hey,
we're not trading
him. No,
unless you can tickle my fancy.
Right, unless you give me something that I really like.
But I think you really might have to overpay for Fitzpatrick because the Dolphins put the boots yesterday.
Spank. And the Rams are a good team.
Yeah, they put the boots on the Rams yesterday. And Tua, not that, he didn't have to do much yesterday. I think he had a touchdown on like 90 yards. But the thing is, you're in contention. So if Tua goes down because he has a health history,
right,
you got a guy that, led you to 3 wins. So maybe they really are not really bullshitting here. Maybe they're confident, like, no, we have a chance to make the playoffs. We want to keep our guy to potentially, keep the boat moving if he does go down. But, I think there's other names out there. Cam Newton.
Yeah.
Do you think he's available now since they got their ass kicked last night? I mean, they didn't get their ass kicked last night.
Well, he
fumbled.
Yeah, terrible play.
Because it's an automatic restart for them. I don't think Bill Belichick will be interested in that because I think he doesn't want to be part of any rebuilding process.
But does he feel Cam Newton's the long-term solution there?
Probably not.
That's what I'm saying.
Probably not. Not at this point. But if you're giving up Cam, you're giving up like this. You're talking about 2 years.
But you
2
can
years before you make it back to the playoffs.
Well, right now they don't
have a chance.
Mike brought up a good point before the podcast. They got 2 wins.
Yeah.
They might be. Let's say they're a top 10 team picking a quarterback.
Yeah.
You got Fields out there.
Homie from North.
They got a lot of money, and you're gonna have Jameis Winston as a free agent. Mm-hmm. That could be another potential guy the Cowboys
to go after.
Let's say the Patriots. They make 2 moves. Let's trade Cam and trade for Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Even though you're probably giving up like a 3rd rounder right now at this point for a Jameis Winston, but at least you got a guy that can throw it deep and a guy that
throw it to the right team. Like I wouldn't trade a 3rd rounder for Jameis Winston at this point. I'd try to get him maybe in free agency if Cam's price is a little bit too high.
But I'll ask you first. Do you think the Cowboys should be buyers or sellers?
I think they should be sellers. They should be sellers. There's no point in even trying to make the playoffs at this point. Like, what is their highest expectation to go into the playoffs and lose in the first round, the very first round? I don't see them making a trade that's going to be any significant in any way for them to compete for the rest of the season
for a Super Bowl. I tend to agree. I tend to agree with you that they should be sellers because you still might stumble being in the NFC East into the playoffs.
Right.
So, and maybe you hope Andy Dalton is back by then if you don't make any moves at the quarterback position. Now, how much of a seller are there going to be? You're probably just giving up pieces on the defensive side of the ball, even though there's not much on the defensive side of the ball because obviously they're terrible there. But the last couple of weeks, since Dak has been down, which is his leverage and negotiation power has been going up, I believe, you're not going to give up really on the offensive side of the ball. So I believe in the seller's point on the Cowboys here.
And I don't believe there's anybody in the league that wants Trevor Lawrence more than Jerry Jones.
Well,
that is the answer to everything for him. I don't have to pay Dak any money. I don't have to pay Dak. I have this gorgeous future icon. He's like built to be a Dallas Cowboy.
Watch your fucking mouth first of all, okay? Don't talk about the future Jet. Right. We'll talk about my future Jet after this trade deadline, okay? And speaking about a future Jet, the Jets actually made a trade yesterday. They traded their middle linebacker, Williamson, to the Steelers to show up their run stopping defense. The Steelers, remain undefeated. They had a big time battle with the Ravens. It was a how can I say, a controlled chaos. I love Ravens and Steeler games. It's just always you get a whole mess of everything. You get beautiful football, you get sloppy football, you get great defense, you get great offensive plays, all packed in one game. But we're talking about the Cowboys a little bit. I think sellers, buyers.
The only reason why I say that is because it's Jerry Jones. Like, you think he's really just gonna sit back and not do anything and try to make his team better? Like, he is never gonna be about that.
Well, he just gave away Griffin.
But if you look at the way that defensive line was set up, they really didn't put it together the way it should be pieced together. They got a bunch of dudes that don't really do anything too great. They already have DeMarcus Lawrence. Everson Griffin really is not gonna put him up there. They were like, all right, well, we tried it, we let him go. It was one of those guys where he is solid at the run.
But what's the point of buying?
The point of buying is because that's just Jerry Jones' style. He's not here to lose. He wants to make.
Forget about Jerry Jones. We know what he's going to do. But you really think they should be buying?
In that division, hell yeah. Why not?
Because what are you trying to say? Once you're in the playoffs, you got a shot.
Once you're in the play, you never know what can happen. They can put it together. They got playmakers up the ass. They can make a play. They can make a push for something. Win a playoff game. It's possible. It's very possible. Look what happened with the Seattle Seahawks. And they were 7-9 when they had Marshawn Lynch. They beat the Saints off of that game. It's possible. I'm not saying that they're good enough, but I'm saying I'm also not saying go crazy and get like something ridiculous. But they can make a nice little slight move to do that.
They got to shore up their defense if they're going to be buyers. And obviously, if Andy Dalton's injury is a little long term, or if they don't believe in Andy Dalton anymore, you got to go after a quarterback. So you're giving up assets when you need to work on that defensive side of the ball. That's why I don't like them being buyers, because they need to spend that capital on defense this offseason.
Let me ask you a question. So they become trash, right? They get a high pick. They're gonna draft a defensive player in the first round?
Most likely. I don't know. Jerry Jones probably usually goes for best available player. Like this draft, they should have went for a defensive player, and they picked up CeeDee Lamb.
If one thing they didn't need was a receiver, they drafted a receiver.
Which
was silly. Which was
even though he's really good.
Yeah, he's just really good.
But still, though.
But you give yourself options when you do that. Like, if you really want to, now you could trade Cooper.
They signed him, though. They signed him to a lot of money.
They signed him before they drafted him.
The Giants signed Odell Beckham Jr. before they traded him, didn't they?
I thought that was silly at the time, too.
But I'm just saying, it just gives you options. I don't believe the Cowboys, who should definitely be sellers, is the Texans. Okay?
Oh, yeah,
the Houston Texans, they need to sell big time. And I think they can. I know he's not going to like this at all, but the Texans could probably sell all three of their wide receivers.
Get rid of all of them. Stills, Cooks.
They are.
Right. Oh, Fuller too.
I looked up their salary cap situation. They're under 12. I mean, they're 12 million over the cap next year. Okay, Will Fuller's a free agent. Kenny Stills is a free agent. Cooks is getting. He's got a $10 million contract.
Yeah,
and he's going to be getting paid next year some kind of money. So I think any of two of these guys could potentially be gone at least from this team. If you want to keep Will Fuller, then you got to trade Cooks. I don't know who's going to be willing to take that kind of cap hit or to pay that salary right now, but Stills and Cooks need to go because they need to get under the cap, and you need to replenish definitely the draft capital because they don't have a first rounder or a second rounder this upcoming draft. They only have a third, a fourth, a fifth, and 2 6 and a seventh.
It's terrible.
They need to get some pieces around Deshaun Watson.
Rid of everything.
So I think that's the team that's pivotal at this trade deadline, and hopefully, but how many teams are out there going to want a wide receiver?
And for what? What are you getting for?
You're probably getting like
He's going to be on his fourth team now.
Yeah, fourth, and you might get a fifth.
But he's only 26 years old. It's not like he's old, man.
Who's going to trade?
He's got some yards.
Who's going to trade for a wide receiver?
There's a couple teams that could look.
The Eagles need one.
That's what I'm saying. They
need a healthy one. Yeah.
If anybody and Greg said this, I give you props. They might have the best chance to win that division, right? Even if they just stumble into it, they might have the best chance to stumble into that division win. So why not give him a weapon, Wentz, to actually be able to be successful? Like, why take it? Even Stills is an upgrade from whoever the hell they got out there. Even though Fulham is looking all right, but
yeah, he's been killing it, especially in fantasy football.
And Alshon Jeffries is supposedly coming back soon, so.
He's been coming back for weeks.
Yeah, but he's like,
I think it hurts right after that.
You have all the time in the world.
Isn't he like 30 years old, like 31 years old? Like, you can't rely on him.
He's got a foot injury.
You have to rely on him, but
he's a heavy receiver too.
You still got Jalen Reagor, and you have the
tight ends, but they've been ravished with injuries all year.
Would you trade Ertz?
I would see it depending what you get back from. Why not? Because they do have a backup. Matter of fact, Rodgers, even a third string tight end, has got some talent.
Yeah.
He's not the blocker these other two guys are, but he is an athletic tight end, and they won't lose too much on the tight end side if they trade Ertz. But for the Eagles, what about the Packers? Trade for a wide receiver.
I'm saying definitely
Kenny Stills or Will Fuller or something like that.
Devontae Adams is like he's amazing, but he doesn't stay healthy. And then when he's not playing, who's he throwing the ball to? He can't keep throwing it to a tight end. So
that's right.
He needs a receiver. He needs somebody to get separation.
Maybe Saints on the down low.
Oh, Michael Thomas, he needs to come back.
I know he needs to come back. Yeah. Let's see who else. Potentially wide receiver.
They could get rid of Golden Tate too. Like Steelers. The Giants could get rid of Golden Tate.
Steelers need a wide receiver?
No, Steelers. I would think about trading Juju. I would think about moving Juju.
Well, yeah, Juju, it seems like he's become the third.
Yeah, which is crazy.
But it seems
Juju's
like,
never been a number one.
Because they have a plethora of wide receivers.
But the thing is, they go by game who's like the number one. Mm-hmm. Big Ben doesn't, ever since Antonio Brown really left, it is just...
Doesn't favor anybody.
I know Juju had 100 catch season.
Yeah.
But it seems game by game, someone steps up and takes over that number one role. So I don't know if the Steelers are going to make a move. I don't think they'll get rid of Juju because they are Super Bowl contenders, and you don't want to give away talent.
Right.
They probably want to add
it's
talent.
It's working. They're undefeated. It's working.
Obviously, they showed their buyers. They already showed their buyers for this trade dedeadline. So
Danny Ainge would do it.
Danny Ainge would do it.
Another receiver.
It's because everybody loves Juju. Juju's like a celebrity over there, and he's a really good football player.
But we're talking about Kenny Stills, which is probably the most logical guy to be traded from the Texans. But if you talk about Will Fuller, maybe that opens up the teams. Like, I don't know, the Patriots going after Will Fuller.
They need a receiver terribly.
They can't draft one. They might as well try to trade for one.
Yeah.
They're horrible at trading for players, offensive players.
Yeah, but, you gave up a second rounder last year for Sanu, and he's not even in the league anymore. Yeah. But Will Fuller, he's 26 years old. He could stretch the field. Yeah,
he's separation.
He's got nice size on him. He's a
good wide receiver. The only drawback from that is also injuries. Like, he's forever injured. He's always injured.
That's true, but
he has a great game, a really great game, and everybody starts looking at him, and then next thing you know, he's hurt.
That one forever, that dude who gets forever injured is better than whoever the hell they got out there right now. Like, none of those guys get any. Julian Edelman is out for a little bit too. Like, none of those guys.
Julian Edelman's up in age.
Yeah.
Harris has showed you he's not a number one wide receiver in this league so far. You got to get some talent on the offensive side of the ball, and the Patriots have money to spend. Yeah. So maybe Bill Belichick is not going to trade for him because he's saying,
just pick him up free agency.
I'm picking him up in free agency. I know Bill doesn't really become a buyer, so it'll be out of their way. It wouldn't be under the regime of the Patriots. But, maybe if you want to secure a guy and show him the Patriot way, maybe you go and take a chance. Hey, here's a fifth rounder. But I don't see that happening. But I think the doors open up more if you add a Will Fuller into the open market. Maybe the Ravens could you take a wide receiver. Yeah. What about Will Fuller on the Ravens?
Oh, hold up.
That's not what they need.
Hold up. They don't even use the people they have. You ain't see that quote by Hollywood Brown?
Oh, yeah. Well,
he quoted paid in full. You heard that?
Nah, I didn't hear.
He said, what's the point of having soldiers if you don't use them?
Oh.
Quoted that paid in full, man.
Oh, no.
So, like, what?
They're gonna
Hollywood
trade you to the
Brown
Jets.
coming back
Chill
on.
out. They're gonna trade you to the Jets or the Giants. You're gonna regret it. Just keep quiet and enjoy the playoff.
I'll take some
runs.
Will Fuller on the Jets. You know,
Hollywood.
Why not?
You know,
that's not the guy I would really go for. If I'm hearing, I don't believe it's true because the lines show their buyers. But I would definitely go for. I've heard rumors of Kenny Golladay becoming available. And if that's the case, if I'm the Jets, I would definitely inquire about him real quick. But, I don't believe much hype into that those rumors.
Right.
So, yeah, well, other teams we could talk about. We were talking about maybe Cam Newton. Do you think Cam Newton becomes available for trade right now? Even though I don't know, his market value is not going to be – it's probably non-existent, to be honest.
not only
signed.
that, not only that,
The
the teams that could use him are not looking to get more wins right now. They're looking to get less wins. Like, Washington, the Jets, Giants.
What are you talking about for Cam Newton?
Yeah, for Cam Newton.
Stop it. None of these guys want these garbage teams.
They don't think he's the savior,
He's
man.
32 years
he's not
old.
the
He has his
savior.
values out there. Why would you want to?
You
could have signed him this offseason.
Yeah,
That's not the team.
There's nobody. I don't see a market
Cam will
for
be
him.
great
I
on the
disagree with
Titans.
you. I
No,
don't see him.
yeah, as a backup.
Cam will
we
be
need a
great on the
As
Titans.
a starter, I'll take Cam as a
Greg, hold
starter.
on.
Of
You
course,
heard,
yeah.
you heard
Yeah.
Ed says we need him on the you said we like he a Titans fan. Look at
No,
this guy,
I'm
man.
talking about the
He's
Jets
Italian.
Play
all
the
day.
tape, play the tape back. You definitely
all
said
I'm
we.
saying, the Titans. Cam Newton would be a great backup. Obviously, he wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
But if a team, maybe the Cowboys go for Cam. They're better than. I mean, he's better than what they have now.
Nah, it's counterproductive for the Cowboys because they're looking at Trevor Lawrence too. Like
So you said the Jets and all these other teams, but it's counterproductive for the Cowboys.
for the Cowboys, like because what if Cam say
They
the
got no
best case
shot at-
scenario,
they got
he
no
wins
shot.
5 or 6 games for them,
And they win the division with that. They win the division with 5
You
games.
win the division, but where you
They
going?
might
Where
win
you
the division.
going?
They might
Who
win
you
the
beating in
division now.
playoffs?
They might win the division
With
now.
no defense.
Hold on, with Cam Newton throwing the ball to all those weapons, you don't think they might beat somebody in the playoffs?
No.
It's not the AFC, it's the NFC. We're not
No,
talking
not
about
with
the
that
AFC.
defense. With that defense, you might as well give.
They got 2 wins.
Whoever you're facing on offense,
There's
you
a
might as well
reason
just
they got
give them
2
a
wins,
Metro
yo.
card. Just give them a Metro card. They're gonna be swiping and just going through your defensive backs, your linebackers, all that.
Cam Newton's trade value is probably near 0 right now.
Yeah, because nobody wanted him.
I'm trying to think of a team.
That could use Cam?
As a backup, I think his value goes a little bit further, but as a starter, it's just
Colts.
No, because they got Jacoby
Brissett.
Yeah,
they don't need him. I mean, you look at
Browns.
the whole thing, nobody can use him, honestly.
as a
Browns, but they just can't afford
As
the
a
PR,
starter.
the PR hit.
they're
But
not going to make him a
otherwise,
starter. Would you make him a starter? I wouldn't make him a starter on the Browns.
I would.
Greg, we know this. You put Cam Newton on mostly any team and make
It's
him a starter.
not mostly any team, but it's Baker Mayfield. Like there's a lot of
He's
quarterbacks.
5-3. He's 5-3. You can't pull him.
He's
and be
not 5-3. The team is 5-3. He
Yeah, he's
hasn't
part
been-
of it,
He's
but
not a. He's not. You look at this. He's not playing like a 5-3 quarterback right now.
Last
No
week
way.
he did.
How do you play
No
like
way.
a 5-3 quarter? He killed it last week. I mean, I don't really like Baker Mayfield.
I'm not a Baker
but you
Mayfield
gotta
guy.
give him his props. Last week he
You're not
Who did he play last week?
I don't even. Well, who did he
The
play?
Bengals.
The Bengals.
The Bengals.
Which they got a big win this.
Wait, the Bengals been in every game.
every
they played
game this year.
week.
They're not a
Every game.
the AFC
They're not a good team. They have a good
North
quarterback.
is
future.
the best division of football. Sorry,
What?
NFC West. Yeah.
NFC West?
No,
Come on, man. Not
No.
better than the AFC
No,
North?
because of all
No.
the. If you all right,
Come
because of the
on,
injuries,
man.
the injuries, the 49ers obviously would have been top of that division.
yeah, well, yeah. I'm talking about.
You're
I'm
You're talking about right
incorporating-
now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about right now. I mean,
Yeah, right now.
because the injuries
I
for the
guess so.
If the
I guess
49ers
so.
are full health, I would put them up there.
Of course.
But you know,
And that would
the-
easily be the best division in football, but the injuries.
But I mean,
just
then again,
ripped
there's the
that division
Steelers,
apart.
there's the
The
Ravens,
Ravens.
there's the Browns,
So,
and then there's
the Bengals.
The Bengals. So
the Bengals
yeah,
have been in every game
they
this
have.
year.
They're not an easy out. You
Yeah.
play them. Look what they did to the Colts. They were up 21-0 fast.
Yep.
And the Colts are a playoff team. They are a playoff team.
So I
Really
so like I said,
football
I know John Ross. I don't know if anyone cares about John Ross. He demanded a trade from the Bengals. They got 3 wide receivers on that team, so
They don't
he's
need
not-
him.
They don't need him. He's a speedster, and It's wide receiver is a tough market. Wide receiver is a tough market. You know
I understand. You know what, for John Ross, I understand that because I know I talk shit about Hollywood Brown demanded a trade or talking crap on the Ravens, but he has nowhere to go. He can't get any lower
John
than
Ross
the Bengals.
But he has nothing he can say because he hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
He's going based off of his combine years ago.
And he's going for he was the 9th pick overall.
He doesn't want to be
It's like another Troy Williamson.
Fourth.
You remember Troy Williamson?
Yeah.
One of the freaking Vikings took him like the 7th pick overall. Yeah. And he hasn't done anything.
Well, he could be a Ted Ginn Jr. Maybe he could find a little niche in the league
if
like
he stays healthy. Is he even healthy now?
Yeah, he's healthy. Maybe I'll throw a team out there just for the hell of it. Maybe the Dolphins. It's just
the Dolphins got a lot of young talent receivers too, though. So I wouldn't even take that chance.
I don't
they
know.
They have a super fast dude on their team, Jakeem Grant.
Okay, so maybe the Colts. Maybe the Colts could use a wide receiver.
You're right. Maybe a Golden Tate.
The Colts could use a wide receiver.
We didn't even talk about Golden Tate. Patriots, but
there's a lot. I think
there's a 6.
There's a lot of wide receivers available in this market to be had.
Yeah.
And we were mentioning already the Packers. Imagine John Ross on the Packers a little bit. Hey, just go deep. Just go down there, bro.
It's not a bad look.
I don't know. Any other team?
Also, like I think, another thing about Philly too is like they've always been successful with 2 tight ends. And Njoku's available. Like if I was Philly, I would make a push for that, and then maybe try to trade, get rid of because Goddard is good.
That's the funny part. I was in Njoku when I was thinking about. But obviously, this is not the Patriot way. But I could see the Patriots signing him in free agency, too, because he's a free agent after the year. That's a guy you could bring into the Patriots also because, he loves tight ends.
Right.
But Njoku could probably be on several teams. He's got a lot of talent.
He's young, too.
I would take him on the Jets, but the Jets are not going to give up that capital. Maybe you sign him in the offseason. That's another guy that it's tough to evaluate or put on another team because these playoff teams already have maybe your Bills or how's their tight end situation? I'm not sure.
It's pretty terrible. I would love him, man, because he's.
So that's a team that you think can market. And trade for him.
Yeah, I don't know what we would give up for him honestly, because we gave up a lot. I feel like we gave up a lot for Diggs, so we don't really have many picks that we're trying to give away.
I would try to see what the Broncos would want for Fant, because this is a contract year for him, right? And
Yeah. Well, but the thing is, it's just a market. Who is going to trade for these guys?
Right. What's the market right now for him?
That's what the tough question is answered. That's the tough answer to find to that question. Excuse me. Like I said, Bills, and I can't really think of another. Steelers don't really use their tight ends like that. Yeah. So they're not going to do it.
And it's not like they have a terrible tight end. Ebron is okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean,
Chargers.
This guy's out for the year, right?
Who?
In San Francisco? Kittle,
but
make a move. Just for the year. Just like they have 3. They get drafted. The Browns drafted a tight end, and he had 3 touchdowns the other day.
But I would see the 49ers doing it. No, I don't see them doing it because they don't want to resign the guy, and they're 4.
But I'm saying just for the.
It's just giving up that draft capital because they have a lot of money. Tied up to the future. So anytime your money's tied up, your draft picks should be extra valuable.
Right.
That's why the Texans are so fucking stupid because they have so much money tied up, and then you trade your draft picks.
Yeah.
And now you got your money tied, and you got no draft picks. You got serious problems. You don't want to pull the Texans. You don't want to give up draft capital when you got money tied up. To the future.
How many wins the Texans got? 2?
How did they do that? Like, how did Bill O'Brien be like, yo, we need to trade Hopkins and get a second round and David Johnson? And
they gave up their first for,
Let's do it.
And they got Cooks. Like, they thought Cooks and Johnson was going to replace Hopkins. Obviously not. They got 2 wins? How many wins they got?
Oh, the Texans?
Yeah.
The Texans, I think we can move on from the trade deadline unless you guys can think about something else eventually. But I will talk about the Texans in a second. Oh, what do you go ahead?
If you were the GM of the Ravens,
given
Lamar Jackson's struggles in the playoffs, would you think about moving him?
No, I should give you a. You remember that siren sound?
I'm just saying. No.
Check yourself.
Hear me
son.
out. Hear me out.
before
Hear
you
me
wreck
out. Hear me out.
yourself.
This is getting ridiculous.
All
Right
right,
now.
hear me out.
Okay.
Mute his mic.
The Jets are obviously hurting for a quarterback.
No.
Mute his mic.
Go ahead.
You're not going. He hasn't won in the playoffs, and he has trouble throwing to the outside.
Greg, I don't mean to cut you off, but the Jets' problem is not the quarterback. if you're trying to make a push as to why the Jets are
if you're the
Lamar,
Ravens, would you trade Lamar Jackson for that first pick? You know it's going to be a first pick.
You're a Super Bowl contender. What are you? So you giving up on the season?
Yo, he was just MVP.
What? Who you giving? Do you hear yourself?
Yeah, I do hear myself.
Oh,
That was a bad one, bro. That was a bad one. You want the Ravens to give up
terrible.
on their season.
That's terrible.
It's not even a bad.
Get rid of
it's just-
Lamar Jackson.
And then trade for Lamar Jackson. He wins the Jets 2 games.
Yeah.
Then you don't get Trevor Lawrence anymore.
What is he gonna do over there? What's he gonna do with the Jets?
Give up. That makes it just doesn't make. It
Now
doesn't.
they don't even have a first now.
Let's say, he
Justin
wins a game.
Fields.
Let's say he wins a game or 2. Now you just took yourself out of the
Right.
Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
Like that
No,
just
but
doesn't
he's-
make any sense.
you know saying the
You know what's
Jets give up
crazy?
their
It doesn't
first-
make sense
I know,
now.
I know.
For him.
Except
But I'm
if-
saying, why would the Ravens even do
Why?
that?
Except all right, this is his draft capital is pretty high right now. Except if they go out in the first round again this year. No matter who they face in the first, if they face the Titans again,
Okay, and you're talking about the Ravens lose, but you're
the
gonna.
the Ravens lose.
Still.
Do you even think about it after that?
Nope.
Do you give up?
No.
You give
no.
up. You give
stay
up.
stagnant.
Let me ask you, okay? You give up. So
No.
wait.
Just stay
So
stagnant.
you're talking
Fuck
about
it.
the Ravens. You talking about the Ravens giving up? I don't know, a 23-year-old former MVP.
Yes.
You can't stay. How you staying stagnant?
Yes.
No,
A
this guy-
fast
Oh,
fast
what it
runner
is,
who's-
Staggo?
who has a
AJ.
high probability for injury
You can't.
and
you-
has
you-
trouble throwing to the outside.
You just can't say these things.
I think you
With
can.
no-
I think
I think
you
you
say
can. I
high
think
probability.
you at least.
I think
And he's
that
never been
nutcracker.
Because he's a
injured in his
running
career.
quarterback.
I think that nutcracker is affecting.
I think
His
so.
ability
You
right
know
now.
what's crazy?
You want
I
some
feel
more?
like you would have had the same. You would have said the same
want
thing
some
to
more?
me if I said this about Robert Griffin.
You want
when
some
he was
more?
on the Washington
Oh
Redskins.
man.
Do you want some more?
When he's on the Washington, I'm
The
sorry,
magic of
football team.
RG3.
RG3 didn't win an MVP.
Nope. RG3 did not win MVP.
The
But
Redskins
did he
won-
put up an MVP like season?
No, he did not. Did they win to the Super Bowl? I mean, were they Super Bowl contenders? Excuse me. No, they weren't Super Bowl
But the
contender.
Super Bowl contender part has to do with the whole team. It's not just Lamar
Yeah,
Jackson.
he's the main reason.
He is. That offense doesn't click
You're
without
saying
Lamar Jackson.
he's not the.
He is.
Without-
Don't say that
It's
because
true.
you can put other quarterbacks on that
To
team.
do
Who you
what
gonna-
he does.
You talk about trade him, and who are you going to replace him with? Who's their backup?
I don't.
No, you don't
it doesn't
know.
even
I
matter.
don't know either.
What if you traded for Sam Darnold in the first for Lamar Jackson?
Yo, we doing a lot of what ifs, and none of this is gonna happen.
Yeah, it doesn't make any
You
sense.
want some more nutcracker because I like everything you saying.
I'm
right
just
now.
saying-
it's making the show
I
great.
would think I would think about it. Sam Darnold in the first for Lamar Jackson.
You're ready to give up on Lamar Jackson? I'm asking real quick. Are you ready to give up on Lamar Jackson?
I would think about it.
Why?
I would think about
Why?
it. Why? Because of how badly he's played against really good teams
You
this
have
year.
shown on this
How
podcast
badly?
you wouldn't give up Drew Lock for Trevor Lawrence, and now you're talking about
Yo, get
Lamar
rid of
Jackson.
Lamar Jackson?
What, Trevor Lawrence?
I didn't say I wouldn't give up Drew Lock for Trevor Lawrence because I would trade Drew Lock for those picks that I would get for. I'm saying I wouldn't draft Trevor Lawrence automatically. I would look to get in. I would look to see what the value is, and if I got 3 first-round picks, I'm trading it.
Oh man.
Yo.
Hey, what do you think? You don't think Lamar Jackson is going to get three first-round picks?
Good. Give me Sam Darnold and 2 first-round picks. Done. I do it.
The Ravens
pull the
would,
trigger.
the Ravens would not do it because you're betting on kids, as you call it. You are betting on kids
Yep.
when you're giving up a former MVP.
Yep.
Nah.
But it's
Yep.
not even like a.
And you give it-
it's not even
It's
like
a flawed.
It's not even like Cam former MVP. It's like last year. You won
And 23
MVP.
years old. 23 years. And another thing is, you're not only giving up Lamar Jackson, you're giving up on your season. You're telling your fans, we're starting over. That's what you're basically saying.
I'm not. This is what happened. All right. So check it out.
This guy.
Their left tackle
is
is
insane.
gone for the year.
Yes.
They're-
Yes, I know. Stan,
They're
big
beast.
dream. Ronnie
piece,
signed,
which they just signed before
$99 million. He was a big
the week before.
That's
Why
probably
wouldn't you even consider
That's probably
it?
the second biggest injury to that team that could happen on that
Everything
team.
is always on the table. For me, every player will be on the table unless your name is Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady.
I just want to have a disclaimer here. Me and Michael do not.
We do not agree.
We do not agree. And
I do it.
We will.
I do it for Sam Darnold and 2 first-round
and
picks.
we do recommend Gregory to get tested after the after the show.
Do it. I do it. I love Lamar Jackson.
It's called Idiot Ezra for a reason, I guess.
Let's move on from this topic.
All right, the chase for Trevor Lawrence as a
go.
Jets fan, to me, has gotten better this past weekend because we got a couple teams that got wins. We got the Vikings and Bengals getting their second win, so I love it. And now, if you're asking why I say the Bengals getting the second win is important, whoever gets the first pick, even if they have a young quarterback, let's say the Bengals, that gives them leverage to trade it, which Greg is talking about. So if you're the Bengals, you're like, oh, I don't need Trevor Lawrence, but I'll definitely trade him.
And get all these picks.
That makes sense. So I'm happy the Vikings and Bengals got their second win. And the remaining teams with one win that's in the Jets' way is the Texans, Jaguars, and Giants. Texans and Jags face each other, so that don't concern me as much. So the last thing is the Giants. And the beautiful thing about that is the Giants are in that garbage division, and they should have won that game versus the Eagles. But Ingram, who's also another trade candidate, dropped that pass. So I think they might stumble on another win, the Giants. So I think the biggest obstacle for the Jets at this point is the Trevor Lawrence advisors. For some reason, Roddy White, Tim Tebow,
telling him to stay another year.
They're talking about Tim Tebow said he should. Yeah, it's smart for him to keep his options open. Roddy White was explicit in saying, "Stay your fucking ass in school, avoid the Jets.
Don't go to the damn Jets."
And Trevor Lawrence said, "You know what? It's not a fact. It's not set in stone that I am leaving." I think.
Yeah, even the coach.
So that's the biggest obstacle right now for the Jets is Trevor Lawrence's maybe his real advisors and these outside noise about not joining the Jets, which happened to us when Peyton Manning was supposed to come out of Tennessee and he stayed another year to avoid the Jets, and we drafted Keyshawn Johnson.
Yo, quarterbacks do that a lot, man. Remember what happened with Jim Kelly?
Well, the
Bills drafted him. He was like, "Nah, I'm going to the Canadian Football League."
But
he was like, "I'm not playing for the Bills."
The only thing is with this thing, his leverage is staying in college. Usually, like Eli Manning, when he came out, he said, Nope, I'm not going to the Chargers.
Right.
I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is. My family's rich. I could chill for a while.
Right.
That's basically what his leverage was. My family's rich. I could chill.
Even though I've never seen this. Like, isn't there a personal reason why Eli didn't want to go to the Chargers? Like, I think there was like something between his dad and
maybe
and
they could have been something. His dad was definitely like, he's not going to the Chargers, which was worked out.
Yeah,
great.
But this is different. This is because your organization
is just garbage.
So trash. I'm scared you might actually ruin my career. And this being said,
this happened already. This is not foreign territory for the Jets. This happened with Peyton Manning, who should have been a Jet, which is just, I don't even, it hurts me. It hurts my soul.
Might be a blessing for you though, man. If you think about it, look, let's say you get the first pick, right? And Trevor Lawrence is not available. Somebody might want to trade up to your spot to get a quarterback right there. Because you're not going to take a quarterback. You got Darnold. You don't believe in anybody else over Darnold. Right? Then you get all those.
I stopped listening to you once you say it's a blessing in disguise.
It could be.
Fuck out of here. I don't give a shit.
If you don't get Trevor Lawrence, that's you get some picks.
I already told you. I'm already in. I'm invested in the locks. I want the locks.
I'm air hugging all Jet fans right now. I'm so sorry.
Yo, you could get him the year after.
Would you accept that trade? Would you accept the trade that I was saying? That
why are we back
Lamar
on
Jackson.
This topic?
I'm just saying, as on the Jet side. On the Jet
Would
side.
I trade? Okay, what's the trade? Give me the trade offer.
Sam Darnold and 2 first-round picks for Lamar Jackson.
Oh man.
Why are you even thinking about it if it's that horrible of a trade?
The reason, because there's a big difference.
Okay.
The Jets it's not a quarterback issue. It's a whole roster issue.
That's true.
That's true. The Ravens have a roster. The Jets have probably the worst roster in football. So you giving up 2 firsts. So what we're gonna do is create another Sam Darnold situation. All right, you're on the team, Lamar, but you got no. We got no. Who we gonna put? What? Who? What? We got no tight end.
Denzel Mims looks good.
If you want to, let's say you want to build the Ravens way, right? Because Joe Douglas comes from the Ravens and the Eagles. We got no running game to support Lamar.
Yeah.
Our offensive line is not the Ravens.
You get no receivers.
We got no pass rush. We don't have a roster to support a Lamar Jackson.
You do have a left tackle.
Yeah. Oh no, we definitely. Oh,
you guys have a left tackle.
Yeah, we have a left tackle. That's
so that's a big thing. That's a huge thing. You don't have to.
That's
try.
I know,
one player.
I'm just talking about the whole roster.
That's one player.
And we have 2 players, and I think he deserves to be mentioned as Defensive Player of the Year, and that's C.J. Mosley by avoiding the Jets season. Okay, I think he deserves consideration.
That's a solid move, C.J.
Yo, like,
C.J. Mosley.
what move was stronger than that?
I see you, Pippen.
He saw that from above. What?
Wait, but
I
you
get
didn't
to stay
answer.
home?
Would you pull the trigger on that?
No, I don't, no, because we don't have a roster.
It puts you back.
We don't. Because we already, even when we get Trevor Lawrence, we're still need to do a whole lot to get it going. And we got some ammunition, and I like that he's making moves to get more draft ammunition. It's just we have a whole roster problem. It's just I said this before. If you could think about today playing how many potential Pro Bowlers are on the Jets, let's say it's spades. You have 2 possibles, 1 mid possible, 1 low possible. That is left tackle. Okay, and our safety and I don't think he'll be. He's a low possible, so that's it. We got no Pro Bowlers on this team playing this year.
I don't even know who the hell's on your team. Like who's play corner for you guys?
There you go. Bryce Hall. They have a lot of
Milner.
That was a hell of a pick.
We got Brian Poole. Like come on, like he's supposed to be in the trade block, but no one wants him. It's just
nobody wants anybody from the Jets.
So your ridiculous trade offer, no, I will have to decline it. And the
That's
Ravens
a lot. That's a lot to trade. Look at the worth you put in the quarterbacks, and you're turning down former MVP, 2 playoff appearances.
Yeah, but he's not. Yeah, like you said, they have a team. The Jets
23.
do not. Yeah, that's
24.
one. First of all, you stop dreaming about this.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
I don't even know how you even thought about this. I can't believe you thought about this. It's the drinking. It's got to be the drinking.
It's not the drinking. It's not the drink. That's how you have to be heartless at some points. At some points, like you gotta like. Yes, he took me to the playoffs twice. He's a former MVP. I'm looking to win a Super Bowl. I'm not looking to make some really good playoffs appearances for the next 5 to 10 years. Can he take me there? It's still an unknown.
Yeah, it's still an unknown, but
the team is pretty stacked.
He brings the team closer to that.
I mean, they're not going to get any better as the years goes by because you have to pay him too.
Listen, I like the Ravens. They have a roster, but it's not like they're flooded with superstars left and right. Their rosters are not that special either. Like Lamar Jackson really changes the dynamic of that team. Even though, let's say you put a tradition, you put Sam Darnold there. They got a running game. They got 1 receiver. Oh no, they got a tight end too. They got
High question. You put Trevor Lawrence in there.
On what, on the Ravens?
Yes, because that's essentially what I'll be trading for.
Yes, yes. If you
and Sam Darnold has a backup and a first-round pick.
That'll be very nice for them. That looked like a good look. But you still have to wait maybe a year or 2 for them to progress. So now, by you waiting a year or 2, now your veterans are aging. Now you have to pay these guys.
They're already aged. Calais Campbell's like
okay. So what you're saying is you have to restock again. You're giving up on your chance. That's what you're doing.
Their chances is right now.
You're giving up your chance because teams, injuries, cap situation all change within a year or 2. So the Ravens.
I'm gonna keep funky with you. Hollywood Brown is never gonna see his ceiling with Lamar Jackson.
Probably. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. Probably,
So
but
this
he's
is
only
the best
23.
he's gonna get.
Well, we don't know
No,
that
we don't
yet.
know that.
We don't
man.
know that
We
yet.
He's 23 years old.
Fins
He's
up.
23.
He's 23 years old. Bro, he gets better. Every quarterbacks get better through the years.
I'm just saying. So you're
he's gonna get better.
You will hope
That's a
he gets
question
better.
mark. You
Yeah,
hope-
it's a question. But I agree with you. It's a question. But you hope he gets better.
Yeah.
But he's shown you. Maybe not this year. This year he hasn't been his MVP level self. But he's shown you from the year 1 to year 2, his passing did get better. So he's shown you that he can get better. And maybe this, because of COVID, this offseason didn't allow him to grow. I don't know if that's a good excuse or not. The point is he's shown you he can get better. He's 23 years old, won an MVP. He's the dynamic of that team. And you're giving up. It's just a lot of no's. You're talking about question marks? That's a lot of question marks. And the answer leads to no, no, no. And your fans might stab you in the street.
Yeah.
Okay? You're putting your life in danger
Put
here.
your life on the line with
You're
that.
talking about a general manager that's been there, as the lead guy for 2 years now. You're asking him and his family to risk their lives here.
Bill O'Brien is safe.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
far.
yeah.
So far.
I bet you once he got fired, he moved out of Texas.
He's gone.
He left
No
Houston
way he's in Texas.
immediately.
He's living in Maine
No way
right
he's in
now.
Houston.
He's chilling with Bill Belichick somewhere. He's not in Texas
Mm-hmm.
anymore. Okay.
It's over.
So my question was, that second segment was, do you, if you were Trevor Lawrence's advisors, would you tell him, to stay put or come on down?
I would never. If I'm his advisor, which means he's paying me,
Yeah.
why would I ever tell him to stay another year in college?
Yeah, that's the leverage, right?
I
Because
would
you never know what could happen with
So you
injury.
could break your leg in 3 different places and then have to wait another year before you could.
Well, that's one thing I don't know about his situation. Like, I don't know about his family. It's a different situation. Like we were talking about before about Eli. He's got money behind him. He can afford to say, I could wait another year. And I'm not going to go back to college. I'm just going to chill, and I'm still going to be highly coveted next year. Yeah. Trevor Lawrence, he could say F college and not risk it either, and he will still be probably the next pick the following year. But you're just wasting a whole year of economic, wealth. That's when you're just wasting a year of earning.
You're wasting a year, but you'd be wasting it anyway if you're in college because college is not paying you.
No, I'm talking about if he says F college too. Let's say he
says F college, but he's not risking himself getting injured. He can go around the world, put his D on tour.
Yeah.
Go around the world, do a whole bunch of photo ops, sign a whole bunch of autographs, and build his brand. And at the same time, he'll still be drafted #1 the next year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
So
he can make a boatload of money.
I'm just saying he has that's his leverage in a sense that he could still be the #1 pick the following year and not put himself in harm's way.
You know what's crazy though? He could sit out and not be the first round pick. And the Jets could have the first round pick the next year too.
Oh yeah, I know. And listen, even if he comes out, I've always said this. Let's say if he does come out and he pulls the Eli, I don't want to play for the Jets. If I'm the Jets, I'm still drafting you.
Oh yeah,
Oh, hell
for
yeah.
sure.
And if I'm the Jets, I'm gonna say I'm not trading you either.
Nah, that just seems silly to me.
No,
Why would you do that?
Why?
Why?
To send a message.
You could send a message, but you're just hurting yourself.
I know
Because
you're
now
hurting yourself. I know
you're holding a whole bunch of, and now you look like the worst franchise in sports history.
Listen, we're probably looking like that already. I might be spiteful if I'm the
That's
general
petty.
manager. I'll be petty. I'll be petty. Like I would be petty. I might go say.
Yeah.
I might say, well, it's not like you're gonna go play baseball. I don't know if
Right,
he's
there's nothing you could do.
It's
You gonna kidnap him before something?
No, it's up hey, if you want to play in a National Football League, it's up to you. We have your right. Now, I don't know if you don't sign a contract, if you renounce your rights, that's the real leverage. That could be the reason why. Like, say if you don't sign the contract,
Right.
I think your rights go back into the draft. So I could be wrong on that rule, and if that's the rule, then you have to trade him. So now let's say if I draft you and your rights stay with me for the next 4 or 5 years because I have you in that slot, or you just lose the rights after 1 year. If you lose your rights after 1 year, then you will have to trade Trevor Lawrence. But if I keep your rights, I would lean towards being petty because listen, I'm fucking stressed out. Okay, I'm fucking stressed out. I'm tired of this shit. I'm sick of this shit. Okay, really am. Fuck that. And I'm getting pissed off reading about Roddy White, Tim Tebow, which are sound advice. I am not. What they're saying makes sense. Listen, if I'm not a Jets fan, listen, I fucking understand. Why would you want to join the shit show? You don't want to be on this shit show. You got nobody over here to really grow with.
You wouldn't even think about Justin Fields?
You know what pisses me off? Like, oh my God, I don't want to make this into a Jets podcast and my fucking sadness. I don't want to talk about
It's New York.
Hurting my ears.
I know no one talks about the Bills. They suck.
Jets.
Adam Gase doesn't want to play. Like, play the fucking rookies. Show Trevor Lawrence you got some talent over here. What the fuck do I see Frank Gore getting 10-plus carries? This shit really boggles my mind. It pisses me off. Frank Gore shouldn't even be on the roster anymore. They're 0-8.
No, he should be on the roster.
No, he should not. No, I'll tell you why.
All right.
I respect you. This might be your last year in the NFL.
Get a team that might do something.
And you really respect the player. They're 37 years old. Go on another team. Hopefully you can set yourself in a contender. Go in the playoffs. When was the last time Frank Gore was in the playoffs?
It doesn't.
Last year.
Here's why I would say.
He was?
Hang
Yeah.
on. He's not costing.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah.
No, never forgets the Bills.
He's not costing you a bunch of money. Running backs that just come into the league, regardless of how talented they are, they still need to learn.
Yeah, okay.
They still need to learn. You're supposed to be in this gap on this play. You're supposed to be blocking on this play. They still need to learn what to look for. What is the linebacker doing? What is the safety doing? Where you should be leaning to? What is the quarterback? What are you doing on this play?
I hear what you're saying.
You need a veteran.
Yeah, but they're actually using him, giving him 10-plus carries, which is ridiculous.
You could be a veteran from the bench.
I don't think he should even be on the roster. Let him go. Let him have
You
a
ever
nice
heard
run.
Frank Gore just like sit down and just talk football?
No,
it's
listen,
amazing.
I hear that him being a mentor is a great aspect to have
He
on your
sounds
team.
like I would think about if I owned.
So that's what they should do. Put him as a fucking coach. I don't want to see him on the field. That's the point. He's 37 years old on an 0-8 team. He's not doing anything for us. There's zero positive of him getting a carry. Zero positive. There's nothing no one can tell me why Frank Gore should be getting a fucking carry on the 2020 Jets.
You don't think
it makes no sense? It makes no sense. It just doesn't make any sense.
Boys how to do
I
it.
don't show what.
Show the what?
You got
What
nice
is he
old
doing?
calves.
He's doing nothing.
This shit is ridiculous.
He averaged like 2.2 yards a carry.
There's just no reason why that man should be getting a carry. Not because he's not effective. He still gets, he reminds me like Curtis Martin. He gets like 3-4 yards a carry. We're 0-8. What? Play your young guys. Play your rookies.
I love it. I love it.
This end of the season, I swear, if you,
I hope he gets like 200 carries.
I'm gonna have a podcast alone. I'm gonna have to have just a rant, an hour fucking rant on this whole organization, this franchise, this just stupidity that just continues.
You should take callers too. You should have like people call in the show and just rant and just scream about how shitty the Jets have been run.
Yeah.
Oh my
Calm
God.
down,
Matter of fact,
garbage.
someone just followed me on
Do
Twitter.
the same thing for the Knicks too.
Someone just followed me on Twitter. If you don't have my Twitter, it's at Idiot Ezra. There's a podcast that followed me on Twitter, and it's called I think it's called like the Jets Giants Rebuild Podcast. That's all. It's just called a Jets. Oh my God, a Jets Giants podcast. And I tweeted the person. I was like, "You're gonna be on that podcast for a while. It's gonna be a long running podcast."
Yeah. That podcast is going to be really successful.
My boy Beezy right here in the Twitch chat is saying, Jets fucking suck. With another word I can't really say on the podcast, but
Say the letter.
It's fucking no. But the point is, it's let me calm down. Okay, let's talk about another subject.
Yeah, let's change the subject a little bit.
Let's talk about the AFC West Falcons, a.k.a. the Chargers. Okay. They lost 4 straight games with 16-point leads. They lost to which I'm happy, they lost to your Broncos for their third win.
Thanks for putting on for your city, Drew.
They were down. Your Broncos were down 21 points, I think, going into the fourth quarter, and they came back and won, which, shows some progression from your boy, Drew Lock, and it shows some moxie. But the Chargers, once again, Justin Herbert drops 3 touchdowns. He did have 2 picks, so he did help out the Broncos in this game. But once again, remember I was talking about the rookie standings about who's going to be Rookie of the Year. I think Joe may have tied him or may have surpassed him for Rookie of the Year because Joe Burrow won yesterday and he had another big game. But the Chargers, is this a coaching issue, talent issue? What's their issue? Why are the Chargers and Falcons? The Falcons, it seems like just boneheaded moves left and right, and they actually won this past weekend.
Yeah.
And Matt Ryan, I give him credit. When he won that game, he's like, you can still feel that he has confidence that this team can still try to make a push for the playoffs. Like, he really still believes, and he's really going to try for it. The Chargers, is it Anthony Lynn? What's going on? I don't
think it's him,
I don't
man.
think it's Anthony Lynn. Just some rookie throws. The Broncos finally playing a little bit better. And they gave the ball to Philip Lindsay, which I always love.
So you just said the Broncos is just getting better. But when you're up 16 plus points, you're up 21 points, you shouldn't be losing this game in the fourth quarter. So that's something to do with the defense. And even though the Chargers ran the ball pretty well in this game, I don't know if they emphasize it enough to,
which is crazy.
And put some play action. I don't see a lot of play. That's another thing. I don't see a lot of play action when it comes to the Chargers. It's just, you're just giving away games. That's 4 games. The Chargers, let's say if you give them half those games, they should have 4 wins right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you're up that much in the fourth quarter, I'm mainly looking to run the ball.
Yeah.
For me, if I'm the head coach of the
but you can run the ball and establish a play action to, and some short plays to make sure that ball is in play and that clock is running.
Remember, play action is a risk too, because you're risking the quarterback is turning his back towards the defense and he's turning around and look. And
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
No,
so play action is a little bit risky too. It's not just an automatic bam play.
It's funny how y'all talked about like how they don't run the ball, which is crazy because Anthony Lynn comes from he's a running back coach. Like he was a running back coach.
No, they run the ball. It's just they haven't been effective.
Yeah.
The last, besides
since they lost Eckler though.
It's been a big loss for them.
Huge loss.
Eckler's a phenomenal player, and I think they got him.
He does everything.
Oh yeah, he does everything for them. He's gonna. Especially in fantasy, you're going to love to see Eckler play. But no, he's a dynamic player and very underrated when it comes to this league and where his stature is.
Right.
It's just funny how the Chargers and Falcons, even if you give them half the games that they lost boneheadedly, I just made up a word.
It's a solid word.
It's beautiful.
Boneheadedly.
Boneheadedly.
The dynamic of the AFC and NFC might look a little different right now. That these guys are just giving away games.
Yeah.
That they're up. That when your win probability is over 90+%, and you're changing the dynamic. How it's funny how this thing's can work out in the standings and in the playoff picture because of the Chargers and Falcons giving away these games.
Yeah. It would be so much different.
I don't see the Falcons doing much this year.
I mean, it's already they're already too much in the hole.
The division is
they're the
too
best
tough.
team in the NFC East if they were there.
By a lot.
Listen, they gave up 4 games also. It's like they would. I mean, they have 2 wins now, and if they won 2 of those 3 games they gave away, that's 4-win team also.
They're right with the Saints are. They're 5
then I don't
3.
know how good the coaching was. Like I think. In that game, they threw to Julio Jones like 15 times.
Oh, that's Julio.
Like
because Ridley was hurt.
I know, because Calvin Ridley was hurt.
He got hurt in that game.
But as the opposing team, like, what are you doing? How do you allow that to happen? For them to throw Julio Jones 15 times. I don't care who it is. It could be Jerry Rice in his prime.
They got some weapons on the Falcon side of the ball. Obviously when Ridley's there, and then you have Hayden Hurst and Gage. Was it Cage or Gage?
Gage.
Gage is not. He's no slouch either. And Matty Ice is a good quarterback in this league.
Yeah.
He's a good quarterback. He's probably a top 10 quarterback still in this league.
Yeah.
So, it's just they have problems on the defensive side of the ball. They have problems with just stupid mistakes. And they don't have the best running. That's another thing. It's funny how the Falcons and Chargers, they got a good quarterback, they got some weapons, and their running game is not very consistent. Obviously, because Eckler's down and Todd Gurley he's not the same.
It's crazy, but doesn't he
crazy.
lead the league in like rushing touchdowns?
Yeah, rushing touchdowns, but if you look at him as rushing yards, it's
not all that.
It's not. They're not consistent with running the ball. Right. You can't rely on Todd Gurley getting 20 touches or anything. Like they don't commit to running the ball on that side of the ball. And Mr. Beasy in the Twitch chat wants us to give some love. He said, "What's actually going on with the Dolphins? Is this for real or what?" I think in a lot of ways they are for real, especially in that division. The division's not looking that good at all.
Nah.
Even though your Bills won yesterday,
it was an ugly
the
win.
last 3-4 weeks now, they've regressed.
Yeah.
They have not been the team, and they are a serious challenge in that division. Especially, which I want to talk about after this, if the Patriots dynasty is dead. But this season, the Patriots don't have it.
No.
They just don't have it. Do I expect them to stay at 2 wins? No, I expect them to still, push through and end up with some more wins. But the Dolphins, what the thing is, they're treading up. Their defense
It's gotten really good.
It's I think in terms of fantasy, and I know fantasy doesn't really translate to actual football, but it does translate to plays being made. And the Dolphins defense the last 4 weeks have been like the number one defense in fantasy or something like that, or in the top 3. Yeah. That means they're getting sacks, they're making plays, their special teams is doing something. The Dolphins are treading up. Now, if Tua can stick with, progressing and be that talent or match Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, I think the Dolphins can be for real and take this division. So I think they're for real.
I like them. Unfortunately,
for real, you think they make the playoffs? And
I think it's not outside.
I'm saying,
are they a threat in the playoffs though?
I don't know that. It depends. If their defense plays like this, like the way they played yesterday, they're a threat. Anytime your defense steps up, attacks the quarterback, you're a threat. Now, if you're asking me overall, do I think they're a threat in the playoffs? No, I wouldn't put them up.
Is there another team in the playoffs you think they could possibly upset?
In the AFC is going to be hard.
I can see them. I can see them upsetting the Titans. The Titans have a bad defense, and if Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry, if they're both not rocking, they're beatable. It's just you just have a bad. Anytime you have a bad defense, you're beatable. The Ravens have come down from last year. This even though they destroyed the Chiefs,
boy, would that be a bad.
The Chiefs' offense is not as insane as you think it is this year so far. That could be a lot of different reasons why. Maybe Andy Reid's taking it easy with the play calling, and he's just like, we'll unleash Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Or maybe these teams needed a couple more weeks because there was no training camp and stuff like that to really show their strengths.
Right.
But as of right now, the Dolphins, I could see a upset or two. Do I see them? Okay, I'll form this question. Can the Dolphins be this season's AFC Titans?
No.
I don't see them.
Because they don't have a dominant running game. And actually, the Titans' defense last year was pretty good.
Well, I'm just saying the Dolphins have a defense.
Right, but they don't have
up the middle, the defensive tackle.
But
so their defense is not as good as
their running game is just not. The running game is not just as dominant as like you're not gonna sit back and hand the ball off to Gaskin.
I don't expect them to play the same way. I'm just talking about. All right, you know how the Titans had no shot at beating the Ravens and
upset the Patriots
and go to the AFC Championship.
I don't see that happen, and especially I don't think.
So you don't think they're for real for the threat for this division?
No, I don't. I think the Bills win the division. I think they have a shot as the playoffs.
The Bills definitely.
They already beat them one time head to head.
Yeah, but like we said, I think the Dolphins are for real for this division. The Bills' offense have not been the same, and the Dolphins' defense is just progressing. So If those two trends continue, there's a problem. I don't think the Dolphins have to really worry about the Patriots offense. I don't think anyone's worried about the Patriots offense. And the Jets are there. I think it's looking good for them. I am not here to plant a flag that the Dolphins will win the division, that they will become this season's Titans, but it would not be a surprise if they win the division and have an upset in the playoffs. I just like how it's trending. And now it's predicated on Tua. Does he open the running lanes for this team? Does he become that threat? Does he become this rookie sensation? That's going to predicate a lot on him, obviously, and on the team moving forward. But I wouldn't be surprised at all. I think you guys are underselling the Dolphins.
No, I like the Dolphins. I like the Dolphins.
Like, are they going to give Tua, like, are they going to open up the playbook? For
yeah, Tua threw like what 16 times.
Yeah. He only had
Something
90.
like
He only had 90 yards, and I really like their coach. If you really think about it,
Brian Flores, he's good. I like him.
They were last season. We're talking about week 1 of last season. They were last season's Jets. You know, I mean, in fact, everybody was saying they were tanking. They were getting rid of players. They were selling everybody. Yeah. Their roster was probably the worst in football. And then week 8 the following year, they got 4 wins.
Yeah, 4-3.
They're 4-3, and they're 1 game behind. Aren't they 1 game or 2 games behind?
Two game. The Bills got 2 losses, so yeah.
Let me check it out here.
The Bills 6-2. So.
Oh, they're 6-2. So they're 2 wins behind.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, they're 2 wins behind, but they're only 1 loss behind the Bills. And the Dolphins have a 3-game winning streak. I just think
they beat the Rams. The Rams are a good team. They
didn't beat. They put
the beats on them.
They really put the boots on the Rams.
Jared Goff really had a horrible game.
Yeah, he did, but he had no.
Is it more because that defense is good, or
he had no? I was watching the game.
I don't know.
He had no time. He had no time. He could not get it. He had no time to evaluate the field to make a decision. He was getting eaten up in that game. Like I said, I'm not here to plant a flag at all. Mm-hmm. I'm happy, very happy. The Dolphins are winning. Okay, I'm happy for every team in the league to win this season. All right, that's the way it is. But
you don't have to worry about that. Like, I don't see the Jets winning. Their schedule just gets
okay. I'm gonna reframe. You have more confidence in Dolphins, Browns, Raiders.
Dolphins.
Out of those 3 teams, most confident.
I have no confidence in the Browns, especially just.
How about reframe it? Because those are probably the 3, right? Those are the 3.
Well, Nick Chubb comes back.
Well, Nick Chubb just come back maybe in another 2 weeks, I believe. He comes back.
Browns. I'll go with the Browns.
You're going with the Browns.
Yeah.
Okay. But is it a stretch to go with the Dolphins here by saying out of those 3? It's no stretch at all.
It's not really a stretch.
I mean, what's the remaining schedules?
Still a rookie.
Let's talk about
we have to look at the schedules.
Let's talk about that.
Let's look at the schedule real quick.
Yeah,
so
who the Dolphins got left?
The Dolphins face the Cardinals, Chargers, Broncos, Jets, Bengals. That's Chiefs, Patriots, Dolphins. Raiders, Bills. So
I say maybe they might
those last
only
4
lose
weeks,
2 games, 2-3 games.
Those last 4 weeks is going to be their toughest stretch.
I think Bill Belichick figures a way out to beat the Dolphins, though.
He might give up on the season by then. Let's say they're not in playoff contention.
He's not going to give up on any season.
I think he will.
I don't think so.
Would you keep Cam? So. Why would you keep Cam if you got 3 wins, 4 wins, and week 14? Why would you keep Cam as your starter?
No, you would take if Cam continues to play poorly. Of course, he's going to take a look at Stidham, but Stidham is not like Stidham's I don't think Stidham's a bum.
Well,
I think Stidham can win games in this.
Well, I don't know. I've never seen him play, so I don't know. But my point is, why would I don't know if Bill will put his heart and soul into winning the game. I won't say he tank, but why would he put his heart and soul? But I said
because he loves torturing young quarterbacks.
But like I said,
number 1.
But like I said, I can see
he loves it.
To your point, I can see the Patriots winning that game. That's why I said the last 4 weeks is their toughest stretch because Chiefs, obviously, Patriots, Raiders, who are going to be vying for a playoff spot, and the last game of the season could be a potential division winner takes it all. Right. So, and that's a division game. But the next couple weeks, they could beat the Cardinals. The Cardinals could beat them too. I think that's a wash right there. Chargers, they could beat the Chargers. They can beat the Broncos. They better beat the Jets. And I know it's another tough game versus the Bengals because the Bengals, but they could beat the Bengals too. But the Bengals have been in every single game this year.
I don't see them beating the Bengals. I don't see them beating the Patriots. Broncos. Not really.
So you don't believe in the Dolphins at all?
Nah, I don't.
You call them a 7-win team.
That's 5 losses right there.
Yeah,
right. That's 5 losses right there. You just said.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not a believer in the Dolphins yet.
They're gonna be 4-8.
Yeah, because I don't think they'll allow Tua to even like maximize. His
Well,
talent
you know
and
what?
open up the
Speaking
playbook
about the
for him.
Browns, you talking about schedules. So we talk about the last 4 weeks of the Dolphins, right? So
Browns
the
schedule's got to be tough.
the Browns actually seems like a pretty easy schedule. They have Texans,
Easy.
Eagles, Jaguars, Titans, tough. Ravens.
Tough.
Oh, so they have 3 tough remaining.
They still got to play the Steelers again, no?
You just say L.
So
For the Ravens.
the 3. So listen. So like I said, Texans, Eagles. Wait, so let's go. Wait. I'm sorry. Those 2. Jaguars is 3. Giants is 4. Jets is 5.
Right.
So the tough games they have is
So that'll be 10
the Ravens, Steelers,
Not winning that.
and Titans. So they have 5 winnable games.
5 losable games. I mean 3 losable games.
And 3 games. Yeah, obviously, the Eagles could come out of nowhere. It wouldn't be a big surprise.
It wouldn't be if
Eagles.
they beat them, right?
So I'm just saying they have 5 winnable games remaining, and then we'll have.
They got 10 potential wins.
Yes,
10 wins gets you in. You think, huh?
let's look at the Raiders here. The Raiders, because that's the 3 teams I was talking about. We got the Chargers, Broncos, Falcons, Chargers again, and Broncos again. So that's 5. Let's say the 5 winnables, and obviously they have the Dolphins, but that's a wash right there. So they face the Chiefs, they face the Colts. So those are the 2 tough teams left. It's the Chiefs and Colts.
Yeah.
And
they actually beat the Chiefs.
And but like I said, so the Dolphins one is going to be important. It's going to be a very important game, and that final 3 we're talking about.
Dolphins and Chargers. That's 50.
So right now, are we talking about those 3 teams fighting for that last playoff spot?
Yeah,
Or are we talking about 2 of them getting in? Because potentially 2 of them can get in.
Yeah, 2 of them can go in. So it's going to.
Because it's 7
really,
teams.
because
7 teams make it.
Yeah, but
So
you're
it's
talking
4
about
divisions.
It's only going to be that final spot because if they make it to the final spot, because you still got the Ravens and Colts who are not leading their division right now. So let's say those 2 get the wild card.
Colts, Ravens, and Colts. That's right. You're right.
Colts, Ravens get the wild card. Then you have the final. You have those 3.
3 for the 7th. Yep.
Yep. So that's why I said those final 3 for that final spot, because Colts, Ravens, or if you want to flip, Titans, Ravens,
Right.
for the 6 spots. So you got that final spot. So are we gonna plant any flags? Who's gonna take that last? You said Browns.
Yeah.
That last spot. You?
After looking at those schedules, might be the Browns, man. I don't want to say that, but
the Browns.
Browns have the easiest schedule,
the
man.
easiest schedule out of all of them.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say the Dolphins because I'm AFC. I'm a Jets
I didn't
fan.
want to say. I would have actually been like the Dolphins, but after hearing that Brown schedule, how do you not win 5 games out of that?
Especially when they're gonna get Nick Chubb back.
And you're getting Chubb, yeah. I think they get into the playoffs.
But the thing is, they lost to the Raiders yesterday. I think the Raiders had the least chance out of the 3. Okay,
which is crazy because the Raiders beat the Chiefs, it's crazy.
So the Raiders beat the Browns. So they own that tiebreaker already if they end up with the same record. So right now, disadvantage. But the Raiders probably had the toughest toughest remaining schedule out of the 3. Yeah. So that's why we probably have it as the weakest link. The Browns probably have the best quarterback out of the 3.
We don't really know with Tua yet, but as of right now, yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'd take Tua's future over Baker Mayfield.
Well, we're talking about right now. We don't know what Tua is. We don't know what Tua is, so this conversation will change depending on what he becomes. Yeah. I know Derek Carr might, he just and for some reason, it's just not clicking with that offense. It's just
I don't think
know.
he's very happy.
It's just
I don't seem like they're happy or the coaching staff is happy. I don't know what the deal
I don't
is.
feel like John Gruden ever wanted Derek Carr to be the
I don't think he did.
He must have did a little bit. Like, you don't sign it. You know, the man was signed to a big contract before he got there, and then John Gruden. Maybe it's just not
John
meshing.
Gruden is like, I'm gonna be here for 10 years.
Yeah.
I got time.
You'll be gone by the time my contract.
You might
is
be
up.
looking at him like you're the reason why I'm gonna have some good draft picks in the future.
So because of the information we have, I'm also gonna plant my flag with the Browns as their last spot.
Yeah, damn man, I like the Dolphins. It's only because I'm huge on Tua.
It's just I don't know
love
about Tua.
It's a win-win.
I just
now
don't.
you get to root for the Dolphins to shock the world.
Yeah, I'm just saying it wouldn't be surprising for me at all if that's the case. If the Dolphins go in, all right, we're at the 100. We're at the hour and 15-minute mark.
100.
Anything you guys want to talk about before we let it go? Maybe from week 8, maybe some potential trade talk. Talk about your Broncos, or you want to talk about another ridiculous trade offer. You know what I mean?
All right, one more trade.
Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
Russell
Listen,
Wilson.
hold on. What if they trade Russell Wilson and they get 3 4s and 2 1s, and you sitting there because they got no defense. So you trade Russell Wilson, right? Listen, wait, you trade him.
That's kind of
They have no defense. So if
I
you
don't
trade
care what
Russell Wilson,
any of
you can
you
get
say.
4 first and a quarterback.
Thinking about trading a quarterback who's having trouble throwing to the outside, who got out in the playoffs the last 2 years, I would think about it. I would at least
Let me ask you just a question. Are you off the Lamar? I don't know if you were on officially the Lamar Jackson bandwagon, which I'd be surprised because I've known you forever. And you
Definitely on that bandwagon.
You love Michael Vick. You respect Cam Newton.
You love fast quarterbacks.
Not fast because Cam's not a fast quarterback. He's just a big physical presence.
Mobile quarterbacks. That's cool.
Speaking about Cam, and I know we didn't talk about the game too. We didn't talk about it all. The Patriots and Bills. I love that matchup because I felt like there was 2 quarterbacks kind of mirroring each other. Because I think Josh Allen is like a Cam Newton,
Kind of like a Cam, yeah.
like he's a big physical quarterback. When he gets to that 5-yard line,
He's
that's almost an automatic touchdown, and that's the guy that's probably going to challenge Cam Newton's rushing touchdown record.
Right.
Is Josh Allen. So that was pretty neat. I just wanted to give a shout out to that matchup, even though it ended really bad for Cam Newton.
It's just so crazy.
They were going to win that game too.
Yeah, they were going to win that game.
That's why I said you got to watch out for your Bills in this division because
They got 6 wins.
they would have lost that game.
Look at the remaining games they got. They got 6 wins already.
Yeah,
I think they win that
saying.
division. But anyway, I could say, which is crazy.
Just one thing. Since we've been talking about the Houston Texans,
No,
trading,
but answer my question. Do you are sold on Lamar Jackson?
do I think that he'll be a good player? Like I don't know. Sold on what? Him on the taking the Ravens
on
to
your
Super
team?
Bowl?
Would you want him on your Broncos?
Absolutely. I think Lamar Jackson's a great talent.
I'm not talking about over Drew Lock. I'm just talking about it. Don't seem
Period.
like it seems like you have question marks about, which is valid.
No. I'm just talking about if I'm GM, the GM of the Ravens, I would consider it. I actually love watching Lamar Jackson play. I think he's super talented. I think he's awesome.
I think the questions are kind of valid because one. Well, first, let me say, to me, he's the most exciting player to watch in the NFL. Love watching Lamar Jackson.
No argument here.
Okay, it's just his body type, and he takes hits. I usually don't go on that bandwagon like
high risk.
Shouldn't take hits. He takes hits. He puts this year he's trying to. I think that's one of the things that's affecting him. I think the coaching staff this year was probably telling him, do not take hits like you did last year. Do not put your body on the line. We need you. You are our future. And obviously, they're probably relying more on his passing, and it hasn't progressed like how they liked. Like I said, maybe you could chalk it up to COVID or whatever. That's the questions. His body type, his progression of the passing, and things of that nature. Those are the 2 big questions about that. They're not allowing him. They're not unleashing full potential Lamar Jackson because of health concerns.
I'm on the other side. It's not because of health. I don't think it's because of health concerns. I think it's just because of the players they're putting around him. All right, they have a really good tight end in Mark Andrews, who's his favorite target
in the red zone, especially.
Yeah, in the red zone, and even in the middle of the field.
He runs up the seams. That's why.
Not only because he runs up the seams, because he's huge. Yeah. So why would you then? Why wouldn't you then look for a larger receiver, receiver?
You can probably
over 6'2", 6'3".
I don't know if they're trade within the division.
Why not? Because those type of receivers are
AJ Brown.
Green?
What?
AJ
Him
Green,
and Lamar Jackson.
AJ Green.
That's perfect. Him and Lamar Jackson would kill. And any large receiver who has decent hands, I feel like Lamar Jackson would utilize tremendously.
I mean, I'm just asking you because you're talking about trading this guy left and right.
If I'm the Ravens, I'm trying to win a Super Bowl. I'm the GM. My job is dependent on one player. Lamar Jackson is one mistake away from being injured.
Yeah, but that's any quarterback.
Huh?
That's any quarterback. No, I know his probability is a little higher.
His is way higher.
Yes,
way higher than Tom Brady's. Tom Brady's because he's running. Look what happened to Andy Dalton. He's one Andy Dalton play away.
Yeah, I understand.
And then where are you now? Who's the backup?
Yeah, but
Robert Griffin III.
But first of all, I am not trying to. I would not even consider your trade offer at all right now because it's mind-boggling. It's just you're really in a fantasy fucking world with this shit. But I'm just listening to you out because forward thinking gets you fired. Okay,
yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. I agree.
That's what happened to Bill O'Brien. Forward thinking. Oh, second round pick.
Oh, let me get rid of Hopkins.
Yeah.
Saying that it might happen to Bill Belichick too. Oh, I don't need Tom Brady.
Oh yeah, but it's tough to get rid of someone that won 6 Super Bowls.
It wasn't tough for them. Apparently, I would never. What do you want, Tom? Like, what do you want?
Well, listen, we spoke about it last week, and we'll end the show on the Patriots dynasty. People are talking about, is it officially over? I think it's over in a sense that it died once you decided not to keep Tom Brady. Now, can the winning continue? That can possibly continue, especially next year and beyond.
Right.
But when you let go of Tom Brady and the way you did, you killed that dynasty. So, in my sense of the word, for me, what I think of it, yes, the dynasty is dead. And it's not looking good at all right now.
2 wins. It's bad.
2 wins, and it's just the offense. I came alive a little bit this past weekend, but the defense is not dominant, and you need this offense to pick it up, and they can't.
You talking about like the Jets having no offensive weapons? What are their offensive weapons?
Well,
anything tight end, wide receiver, running back.
They still have a better. What? They still have a better wide receiver core than the Jets. But I hear what you're saying. Yeah, they have Julian Edelman.
You get what do you expect Cam to do over there? You throw it to himself.
No, I hear you.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think the Patriots found this past weekend, you have to become a running team. You have, they don't have a dominant running back, but you have a committee. You have Cam Newton. You have to start establishing. This Harris guy's showing a little something.
He's looking good.
I think he had over 100 yards. He had over 100 yards. You got to give this guy touches. You got to he's your playmaker right now.
That's crazy.
He's their playmaker right now, besides Cam. Put the ball in his hands. Design something for this guy. Get him 20 touches a game. And Burkhead, do what you got to do. But James White, you have to be very creative with this team. But I think they found maybe an identity going forward. We got to run the ball. Like Cam Newton's days, besides his MVP year, where let's run the ball, let's hurt him physically, and this is what you got to do with the Patriots.
That being said, would you give up a 3rd round for Kareem Hunt?
The Jets?
The Patriots. If you're the Patriots, would you try to trade for Kareem Hunt? Nick Chubb is coming back. They're missing a receiver.
I don't think they'll do it because
they're not getting rid of Kareem Hunt.
Because I think they might believe first, like he hasn't shown to be a running team. I'm saying I'm thinking in my head this is what you establish going forward, and you saw your guy get 100 yards. I don't think he'll give up a 3rd rounder for him. But I hear what you're saying,
for
Kareem.
one game, Kareem Hunt. Period.
But the Browns, I don't think the Browns
should be on a lot of people's menu.
But I don't think Kareem Hunt is available either. Like there's no Nick Chubb right now, and he's going to be.
He should be because they're missing OBJ now. They're down a receiver, and you're trying to make the playoffs, right?
That's what I'm saying. So why would you give up Kareem Hunt?
I'd trade him for a receiver.
No.
I'd ask the Steelers what they want for Juju.
The Browns are a running team. Why would you give up the guy that's
Steelers
replaced
got James
Nick
Conner.
Chubb?
Yeah.
You're not giving up. I don't think they would.
Also, the Patriots got Sony Michel's out. He's injured, so they're not gonna. They have running backs.
I'm not a big believer in.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
was
a
gonna
big
say
believer in Sony Michel.
Yeah, I'm done with Sony Michel. I'm done. I know you drafted him in your fantasy league.
I did not draft him, but Sony Michel.
Oh, you once drafted him.
I want to. He's really good though. He's good.
Well, he hasn't shown it.
Oh, he's been hurt.
Well,
I mean, even when he's been healthy,
the game he played, he had 7 carries, 100 yards.
I'm just saying.
That's not.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying they should become a running team. If you go incorporate Sony in there, I'm saying they got running backs on their team. That's what I think the identity they need to go with going forward. I know it's not a running back league anymore, but there's a couple teams, that carry their team offensively. Like I know the Vikings only have 2 wins. They should have a little bit more. They gave up a game or 2, but offensively they're good. Cook is leading them. Derrick Henry's a running team. You know what I mean? Even though Ryan Tannehill, what I'm saying, has the last 16 games has the second most touchdowns at the quarterback position behind Russell Wilson. But no one wants to talk about that. But it is what it is. They're a running team. There's a couple teams in this league that, their offense is pretty good with running the ball. And the Browns, they're a winning team by being a running team. The Patriots need to adapt and just be that. I know he's never wanted to be, how can I say, predictable, Bill Belichick, but it's time to be kind of predictable and just smash mouth football. He's a historian. Fuck it. Just make some motherfuckers bleed. That's what you got to do on the offensive side of the ball with the Patriots. I think that's what they need to do. So, I usually don't, but I guess we're going to start wrapping it up. Anything you guys want to talk about here?
Ronald Jones just had a fumble.
Oh, the game. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yes, and I'm going against him in fantasy football.
Yeah.
And if you guys love the show, please, if you're listening on Apple, hashtag team pull out my boy Ray on the Twitch. If you're listening on Apple, please leave a review. Give us some stars.
Yep.
Leave some nice, kind words or mean words. I just want to hear from you. Check us out on Spotify, any of your favorite podcast directories. And I want to thank Mike Tapp on the track. I want to thank Gregory, even though his trades were a little off some today, but
think out the box, man.
Yeah,
win the Super Bowl.
That's how you get put in the box.
That's how. Now I know when I need to make a fantasy trade, I'm gonna put a nutcracker in his hand.
Yeah,
before I make it
whatever you want with that.
All plays are available.
And watch out for the next podcast with me and Marvin here on Idiot Ezra. We're going to be talking about whatever the hell we want to talk about. And next Monday, once again, we'll be streaming and podcasting NFL talk of Week 9 and hopefully some potential trades. Yeah. So, if you can't be good, be the baddest. Thanks again. Oh.